Pretty stark differences there.
Yes.
What'd you guys see?
You were shuffling your feet on the first one, like
How was I standing on the first one? Start off with that.
just straight up. Stiff.
I was standing like I was buying groceries, right? Just standing here just like this. If you stand here with your feet this close together, how do you move?
You have to move one foot first before you move the other.
Any of you guys like played basketball, football, any of that shit in high school? Like, how did you stand when you were playing something athletic where you had to move around? You stood with your feet wide like this, your knees bent like this, right? If you stand here like this and then you have to move, it's going to end up looking like that whole like drop step thing. So in other words, like you'll kick a foot out and then you'll have to spring into action. That drop step feels really fast. It's not. Like it's going to add a whole second to a second and a half on top of your time, right? So like make sure you guys are standing in a way that not only do you want to shoot, but move as well, okay? And by the way, this is not one of them, right? If you stand here like this, like we see this like quite a bit, to get out of this position, you would still have to like, you know, drop down, do that spring, you know, drop step thing to get out of that position. The second one, this is a popular one because,
as I said, probably the most popular.
Because people don't want to cross their feet. They think they're going to die in the street. What'd you guys notice like when I did this?
There's extra steps.
There's extra steps, right? Check this out. What direction do my shoulders go if I do that?
Left and then right.
Opposite.
They go in the opposite direction of the direction that I want to go in, right? Here's what I want you guys thinking about. Shoulders is what is going to lead the way in terms of movement, or in regards to movement, right? If I want to go in that direction, my shoulders need to point in that direction as I'm coming out of that position, right? So all I'm going to do is just cross my legs, right? Shoulders move a little bit, cross the legs, and stand like, again, land how you'd want to stand and shoot and move. Make sense? So when you guys get done with this drill, don't just like shoot it and then like reset, right? I want you guys to shoot it, get done, look at your feet. Like, is this how I want to be standing and shooting and moving? A lot of the times people will get done with this one in particular and they'll be standing like this and be like on one foot. They'll have that whole like ballerina toe going on. It's like, you don't need to lean, right? There's no need to lean on this. So make sure you're like completely centered over your feet. This is something that's like, any of you guys that want to shoot matches or currently shoot matches, this is very, very important stuff in my opinion. Like if you're running around landing in positions like this, you don't need to. All you're doing is adding risk, right? So make sure you're landing nice and wide with your knees bent, centered over your feet, all right? Like if you land like this and I need to like move out of a position, like it's actually very easy to get out of that position if I'm already like nice and wide with my knees bent. Make sense to you guys? Mm-hmm. This one, same exact thing, you're just not crossing your legs. All you're gonna do is just take a step forward like that, all right? The order that you're gonna shoot this is target 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're just bouncing back and forth. It's a total of 8 shots.
When to start moving?
Yeah, the cue to start moving. For me personally, and I think I demonstrated that for you guys, like where the third one sounded like continuous shooting the entire time, like that's the goal. Like you want it to sound like continuous shooting. Like there should be no dead time in this. So like the cue to move should be as soon as you come off of target number 1, right? You shoot target number 1, you look at target number 2 and you start leaning in this direction. And you shoot target 2 as you're falling out of that position. Make sense? So like the cue to move would just be like the trigger break on shot number 2 on the first target. Does that make sense? I know that's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, makes sense.
A lot of blank looks.
You have to shoot it before your foot hits the ground on the other side. Like it needs to be like the second target is shot before you step down, and then you got to be out of the one before you shoot it. The other thing that we see a problem with, guys, on this one, once you guys shoot this both directions, fucking, when you guys go this way, everything seems to be all right, cool. When you guys go towards your weak hand, you guys start to do some fucking funky, like step behind weird shit. When you guys do this, just as a general rule, you guys tend to step behind. When I'm going to my left, I take it almost angles me a little bit forward when I do my left side, so kind of play with it, but I'll step here and then here, and I'm into my spot. If you guys we'll see a lot of trying to stay even, and you guys will do this crossover thing, and crossing fine, but like, it's almost like a grapevine wrap around when you guys do. So just a little bit in front gets you so that you can step right into position.
One last thing you guys are going to notice is you're going to be focusing on your feet, right? You're no longer focusing on the shooting. Some of you guys still need to focus on the shooting. So if you start focusing on your feet, which I would encourage you to do on this one, what do you guys think is going to happen to the shooting? It's going to suck. It's totally normal, all right? Take note of that and like add this into the stuff that you do when you go to the range, right? Focusing on like, hey, I want to land like this. This is how I want my feet to be. And then like the more shooting you do, the more subconscious the shooting piece will be and the more bandwidth you'll be able to put on this without fucking up your shot. Make sense? Yep.
Sometimes you hear like load your leg that you're leaving off on. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't want you focusing on any of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Just focus on like the last, so shot number 2, the trigger break on shot number 2, my shoulders need to start moving in this direction. All right. And then you're going to shoot shot number 2 on target number 1. There's a lot of numbers involved here. That's the one that you're going to start moving, right? And then as you're shooting target number 2, you're going to be leaning out of that position.
Before you touch the floor on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to.
For the competition side of
I'm not
things,
going to
yes.
kick you in the nuts if you drop a penalty.
Yeah, but the actually is like
But
you get a penalty, no?
Yeah, but I mean, I just want you guys focusing on the way you exit and enter. Yeah. Cool. Just like the rest of the stuff, I want you guys dry firing this a good little bit before we actually run it. I know it's only 2 targets and a stick, but like this is a good little bit harder than it actually looks, right? We'll shoot it. I want you guys just going in one direction, right? So like if you go left to right, do that. We'll do that, say 4 times. And then if you want to run it the other direction, we'll do that 4 times. But like only go left to right or right to left that 4 times because I want you guys to be able to see patterns and trends on the target. That reminds me, hang on a minute. Sure. Hold that soft. If you see bullets trending in the direction that you're moving, what does that mean? It means that you're just looking in the general direction of the target, right? Like if you just look in the general direction of the target, there's nothing there that's going to hold your dot or iron sights onto the spot that you're trying to hit, right? But if you lock your eyes on a spot, like the dot will stay on that spot. But the second you're like, yep, there's brown, like the dot is just going to drag off the target. So like when you guys do this at home, like a great way to diagnose it would be like if I see shots dragging off the target, like sideways like this, it's like I am not picking a spot. All right. So the way to lock those sights on the target is to actually look at the spot that you want to hit.
Do you want that one only shot moving forward?
No, you can do backwards too. Yeah. Is everyone cool crossing their feet?
Yep.
Okay.
Mainly talking to the police officers in the group.
So are you still like keeping your hips square, or are you like kind of turning a little bit?
Yeah. That whole like 90s squat thing like this, I think is trash.
The tank turret.
Yeah, like just keep your hips.
It's literally, guys, it's literally me taking my hand on his shoulder, and I just go like this to him, and he just falls over. And I'll do that to you guys when you guys are shooting this thing. Like if you guys are having problems with this, we'll just sit here and I'll just say, go when I push you. And you'll just fall that way into it. Like it is natural. Just lean your shoulders and go.
Yep. Yep. All right. I'm sure we're all cool crossing our feet. Okay.
We're gonna find out.
Okay.